Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Now, that being said, Canelo just got fired. Underestimated Terrence Crawford, burnt yourself out, and now you've been given your walking papers. Got him up out of there. What we gonna do about Canelo, man? You know what I'm saying? Check this out. Now, I personally think that Canelo is trying so hard to impress Turki Al-Sheikh that he's going to be dehydrated. So, this is what happens when you come into a fight dehydrated, man. This is what it does to your performance. Now, these are the factors to the left, the optimal state in the middle, and, when you're in a dehydrated state to the right. Your reaction time in the optimal state is very fast. When you're dehydrated, you're sluggish. This is what could be the issue with Canelo when he steps in there with Omaha, Nebraska's finest, Terrence Bud Crawford, known for putting the bing-bings on people in and out the ring. Canelo, especially if he's dehydrated, won't be any different. Punch resistance, optimal state, stable. Dehydrated, vulnerable. Canelo could be very vulnerable going into this fight with Terrence Crawford. One thing we know is Crawford won't be dehydrated. Canelo will. Mental clarity. Crawford will be sharp because he'll be in his optimal state. Canelo could be very foggy. Muscle recovery is efficient for Crawford. As far as Canelo, I don't know. I think he's going to be a little delayed, especially if he's dehydrated. And the fact that he's pushed so hard in training camp, he has a lot of little tears in his muscle that he probably wasn't able to recover. So now he's getting in the ring, muscle tears, bruises, soreness. And then he's got a delay, and then the muscle recovery is being delayed because he's in a dehydrated state. So that's just all bad for Canelo. As far as cardiovascular output, stamina, conditioning, we all know that Crawford's going to be strong. Canelo probably would be strong if he if he comes in, hydrated and he cuts the weight the proper way. But if not, Canelo's going to be compromised. So those are just some things, man, just to take into consideration as we really try to understand what the hell's going on with Canelo and this damn weight. This damn weight loss, man, and this cutting weight. He may look sick and drained. I know people don't want to hear that, but I'm just telling you, man. Canelo may look sick and drained. I want to see how he's going to look and how Crawford's going to look when they step on the scale. Like, that is something that is really, really interesting to me because I think that's going to tell us a lot. Fans may notice great things about Crawford. They may feel they're looking at something great with Canelo, but what if he's dehydrated? They're going to notice things that are unsettling to him. His eyes, we're looking for the sunken eyes. We're looking for the pale skin, you know what I mean? His posture, is he going to be, chest back, shoulders up, chest out, shoulders back, you know what I'm saying? Looking like a hood champion, you know what I mean? Or is he going to look sluggish? Is the posture going to be off? These are things we got to pay attention to. Now, understand, it's not because he's out of shape. Because Canelo, he always comes in, looking the part, but could be overtrained. He could be overstressed. Possibly dehydrated because he doesn't want to get fired by Turki Al-Sheikh. We know they signed a contract, but Turki Al-Sheikh does what he wants. If he wants to keep you on, he will. If not, whatever contract he put in place, he'll avoid that shit. He's smart. These guys got these little clauses in the contracts that ultimately take care of them. He cares about the fighter, but he wants you to win. He wants you to dominate. He wants you to get in there and basically get broken bones and everything else, which I think Crawford is more than happy to accommodate Turki Al-Sheikh's request and break Canelo's face the way Canelo broke Billy Joe Saunders' face. But that shit could go left if Canelo's fully hydrated and lost weight correctly. You could hear them goddamn horns, bing, 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 but I don't know. Just enjoy the content, all right? But making 168 pounds is not new for Canelo. And I know people are like, oh, he's made it before. I know that. Dumbass, I watch boxing like you. That shit ain't new for him, but you know what's new to Canelo? Not making the weight. There's a new expectation. Nobody talking about it except for me. Except for me. He's expected to come in here, man, and do something that to a guy like Terrence Crawford that he wasn't able to do to other fighters, and maybe those key decision makers behind the scenes feel like, Crawford is the right name with the right accolades to bring up in weight for Canelo to finally get it right, unlike he's been able to do in his recent fights, and tranquilize, destabilize, and put Crawford in the dirt. Now, I'm just telling you, that adds to Canelo's legacy pressure. They want him to come out and try to make the impossible possible. I just don't see him being able to do that to a guy like Crawford. But the bottom line is the boss is watching. Canelo wants the dollar bill, y'all. He wants the cha-ching ching. Turki Al-Sheikh is looking to pay people the cha-ching ching. But I think that's a whole different beast that Canelo's dealing with, knowing that Turki Al-Sheikh is like, yo, okay, we signed this 4-fight contract or whatever it is, multiples of millions of dollars I'm going to give you, but if you can't get in here and do the business against little old Terrence Crawford, well, you're not deserving of this money. And we already know with Terrence Crawford, 1-fight deal, this is Crawford's opportunity to show Turki Al-Sheikh what he's got. It's basically an audition for him to come out here now and get a 3-4 fight deal worth $400 or $500 million. But they both have to do the business. But I think Canelo is more of the employee trying to impress the CEO, and Crawford is just a guy who's like, yo, let me grab this check on the way out, add to my legacy, and then we'll take it from there. Crawford don't seem to be stressed about shit. It's Canelo. Just imagine Canelo, like the way this thumbnail I created. Imagine him as a high-level employee, had a few shaky quarters. Like his recent performances, they were shaky. You got the Bivol loss, criticism over cherry picking, everybody looking at him saying he's slowing down, he doesn't got it no more. Maybe he doesn't let his hands go so much because he's gone economical because he doesn't want to get countered because his punch resistance isn't what it was anymore. Maybe he knows he's feeling things internally that aren't visible to his fans and to the boxing audience. So he's gone now with call himself evolving his style to do the least amount of work to get the result of just a win. Not a dominant win, a dominant victory, impressive victory, highlight reel knockout. No. Cruise control. He just want to get to the finish line. So the whispers, man, I believe they're true. I think he's slowing down. How about that? But now you got, a new boss. Hey, Turki Al-Sheikh and Canelo working together. It ain't Eddie Hearn who's going to sit back and be like, Canelo can do what he wants. Canelo's the boss. He runs things. He runs shit. He's this. Whatever you want, Canelo. Because Eddie Hearn was just cool with getting his little few million on the side. He wasn't going to tell Canelo nothing. PBC, they took care of Canelo. Kind of a similar situation. Turki Al-Sheikh going to really take care of him financially, right? But he's telling him, yo, I'm investing millions in you. I'm expecting results. So viva el Saudi Cabrones. Don't come mess around with Turkey. Man, put all that money in your pocket on that contract. You better give him those results. So Canelo's under pressure. He's sweating. Ain't no more laughing in Spanish. Ain't no more ja. All that shit gone out the window. Canelo wants to prove he's still the face of boxing, and he's got to do it against somebody who's already the pound-for-pound best fighter in the sport. Yeah, he's hot, skipped and jumped his ass up to 168, But he did it over the course of 13 months, not 13 weeks. Terrence Crawford is looking to electric slide his ass up in the ring and put the bing bings on Canelo and get him up out of here. Terrence Crawford could and just may and most definitely will supplant Canelo as the face of boxing if Canelo's dehydrated. Especially if Canelo is trying to force something, because now Canelo is risking being overworked, taking on a workload that wasn't necessary to get the job done. He can't come and become an overworked employee that forgets about the fundamentals. And now he burns out. Got a big presentation coming up this weekend and can't get it together. Coffee ain't going to help that. Espresso's not going to help that. A Monster's not going to help that. This ain't a military exercise. Club DD214, been there, done that. That shit works for military exercises. It may work to get your ass up and go drive from point A to point B, but not when you're in the ring, when you got a killer. When you got a Omaha, Nebraska chainsaw massacreist looking to massacre you. Y'all better understand, Turki Al-Sheikh isn't just a promoter. Terrence Crawford is not just a fighter. Turki Al-Sheikh is the best broker, the biggest broker. He is the real deal, the top dog when it comes to modern boxing today. He is that guy. And Terrence Crawford, when we're talking as far as fighters, he's the equivalent of Turki Al-Sheikh. Canelo can't afford to drop the ball. He can't drop the pelota. Gave Canelo that big deal, built the stage, expects fireworks. Crawford looking like, we'll get to it. Don't worry, I'm going to do the business. And then this multiple fight deal, we'll see what's up. But don't worry about it. You watch Crawford, cool as hell. Canelo knows all this. He knows all this. Canelo knows he's got to get in there and deliver. Look, I said this in another video. Same shit with Deontay. Look, this is the deal. Deontay Wilder was supposed to do the business. He was supposed to do the business. Everyone in Saudi Arabia, even in boxing, couldn't wait for Deontay Wilder to get to Saudi. Fighting Joseph Parker. This is Deontay Wilder's opportunity, man, to showcase his power. They want to see a knockout. They want violence. They want broken bones. They want something that's going to be scary and frightening. Wilder got in there and goddamn flopped, didn't he? What if Canelo gets in there and flops? People were saying, Wilder, he's just fighting Joseph Parker. Then we realized he wasn't just fighting a Joseph Parker. He was fighting a guy who was undersized to some, didn't have the power, didn't have the speed, and who was smaller and outworked and put the bing bings on Deontay Wilder. This is the same thing, man. This shit ain't nothing but Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker, Terrence Crawford, Joseph Parker. Watch him get up there and put the bing bings on Canelo, all stressed, trying to impress the boss. Overworked, overtrained. Can't manage the expectation, so he takes it to the stupid. I'm going to tell y'all again, Canelo ain't just fighting a Terrence Crawford. He's fighting for a seat at the table. And Canelo wants to eat. But that pressure, I'm telling you, for Canelo to get in there and do something to Crawford, the perfect fighter, the unpredictable fighter, that shit I'm telling you, that shit will lead to overtraining. Who knows what his diet is? Probably excessive dieting and not putting in enough protein and the right kind of carbs. Eating quinoa and all that shit. And grass-fed bison. Then he got that mental fatigue. You know, Eddie Reynoso ain't helping with Canelo's mental state because Eddie Reynoso got his own problems over there. What the young boys say, facts, facts. That ain't no blue hat. Blue hat, blue hat. No. The truth. So I just think when we look at this weigh-in, it's going to be a moment of truth, not just a mere formality. That weigh-in is going to mean everything, you know what I'm saying? So understanding the physiology of overtraining and dehydration. A lot of y'all know, a lot of y'all guys have played sports, so if not, you went out drinking, getting drunk, you wake up in the morning and y'all got the peanut butter mouth. You know what that shit can do to you when you're all dehydrated and don't have enough fluids in your system. But when it comes to this fight, when the fighter pushes too hard to make the weight, the body suffers, man. Glycogen stores, all of a sudden, all that shit starts to deplete. Electrolytes clash. Better get a Gatorade. What are they drinking, Lucozade or some shit? The brain shrinks slightly due to fluid loss, increasing concussion risk. Canelo can't afford to get in the ring with his brain shrinking slightly at all. He will get concussed. Terrence Crawford makes reads. Canelo can make reads, but if he's dehydrated, he ain't going to be able to make the right reads and be able to react quick enough. Muscles lose elasticity. Tight. Cramp up. Manny Pacquiao. Oh, my leg, Freddie, my leg, Freddie, my leg. Man, Pacquiao, shut your ass up. I'm just telling you, man, this shit going to be interesting because if all this happens to Canelo, in addition to his reaction time slows, you know, he going to get in there and look flat. And again, to the untrained eye, you're going to be like, man, he looks fit. But that's not going to be why he can't perform. Because he's drained every ounce of energy trying to hit that magic number on the scale for a moment in time. And again, he may be trying to hit a number that's below 168 just so he can somehow get in there and try to keep up with Terrence Crawford, you know, who floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. You know what I'm saying? He leaps over buildings with a single bound. You know what I mean? Southpaw Man. Southpaw Man. Canelo better not miscalculate, boy. He's going to step on that scale looking like a shell of himself, man. He's going to make all of his fans jump into a river butt naked and try to swim across. And they're going to be miserable as hell, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So again, Canelo to me is like that employee who overtrains because he's over-prepares because he got to correct his wrong, right his wrongs with underperformances. And, you know, I could give y'all stories for days, but I've seen it. I've seen this shit. I'm sure y'all have seen it, man. You get that one worker. They just can't get shit together, man. Now they want to stay late now. They can't lose their job. They can't get written up. They don't want to get counseled no more. They don't want to get admonished. They don't want to get reprimanded. Now they staying late. You know, hey, man, we're going to get lunch. Oh, no, I got to get this done. Come in the morning, skip breakfast. Just got to get to work early. And they always going over. This is the game plan. Rehearsing endlessly. I've seen that shit time and time again, man. And then when it's time to perform, they choke. All of that, the over-rehearsing, staying late, skipping meals, stressing. That's not going to result in an outstanding performance. No, you're going to goddamn choke. And Canelo could be choking. Wish I knew how to say that in Spanish. I was sure as hell say it in Spanish. Now Canelo falls into the goddamn trap. Trying to prove he's still elite, still marketable, still the king, still Turki Al-Sheikh's golden child. We know when Turkey's in the house, every day's Thanksgiving. But when Turkey's in the house and you ain't performing, you know what happened? Turkey become a little bit, he get a little Trumpish. He get a little Donald Trumpish. You're fired. Yeah, he put the finger on you. You're fired. Turki Al-Sheikh may get a little bit, you know, a little bit POTUS. He may have a little POTUS in him. Get Canelo ass up out of Saudi Arabia. Got him in Vegas. He'll never come back to Saudi. But I'm just telling you, Canelo's stressing trying to impress Turki Al-Sheikh. I was about to say trying to impress Donald Trump. He trying to impress Turki Al-Sheikh. He may forget the basics, which is, to me, It's all he needs to get in the ring and really to get a win over Crawford. Just stay sharp, do the basics. Canelo's supposed to win. He's brilliant. Crawford's brilliant. Canelo's he's just bigger, man. He's got speed, he's got power, he got IQ, he got experience. Canelo has everything, man. Crawford does, but Crawford's bubbling up. But I just think he's going to throw his knowledge of the importance of rest, his knowledge of the importance of recovery, and his ability to get in the ring and take control of a fight to establish the rhythm that he's comfortable with. I think he's going to throw all that shit aside because he's going to be trying to impress Turki Al-Sheikh. I think he goes flat after about round 4 or 5. And then you got Crawford, Bud, Southpaw Man. That may be Batman's theme song, but y'all know what I'm saying. He's coming in hydrated. He's coming in relaxed. He's coming in focused. He's coming in smiling, showing all 32 teeth with that gap. He ain't worried about none of this shit. He like the pressure's on him. And that plays into my hands because he's going to sit here and make mistakes and do something stupid thinking I'm an easy fight. And I'm going to show him what time it is. Bing, bing, bing. Roll Canelo ass up out the ring. And I just think when you think about the contrast of how the two of these guys are approaching the fight, that could be glaring at the weigh-in. So, something to pay attention to. That legacy anxiety is real, you know what I'm saying? Canelo don't want to be replaced. He don't want to be replaced. Canelo isn't just fighting Crawford. He's fighting irrelevance. If he loses, especially badly, Turki Al-Sheikh, the fans, everybody going to pivot on Canelo's ass. Crawford will come the new face. Like I said, I don't think he'll stay the new face for long because he doesn't get the support he wants. Some people say Crawford doesn't get the support because he's a black man. I don't know if I agree with that. I do think, I'll put it to you this way. My first 10 years in the military, I was just existing. Came to work, did my job, went home. I was always in the gym. I was always in school. I started my PhD, ended up stopping when I had kids. So, how much education you want? So bottom line is, I had somebody pull me aside and they talked to me. And they talked to me about getting to the next level and how attitude is everything. Getting outside your comfort zone is everything. You need exposure. You need to go out and assimilate. You need to go out and network. Get involved in the community. Get involved in the base. And when they're telling me this shit, I'm like, fuck out of here. I ain't doing all that bullshit. To me, that was company man shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to do things my way. Y'all just have to accept me for me. And the guy was like, I hear you. And I'm not telling you can't do things your way. But I'm telling you, there's some things that you need to do differently. But you can do them in your way. He's like, if not, you ain't going to go any further than the point you're at. And I was like, yeah, all right. So then they forced me into some shit. I was like, man, I don't want to do this shit. They had me like in the organization, they had like a group like for top 4 and shit. Then they made me a secretary, made me a treasurer, made me a vice president. Long story short, they put me in these key positions to where I was getting FaceTime. I was forced to assimilate and network and interact with people who I had no desire to fucking talk to. But I realized then that you have a voice, you suffer in silence. But what it did is it helped my profile. Because now everybody's like, yo, that's that guy. We thought he was this way. Nah, he's cool as shit. He's smart. He's funny. He loves boxing. They're like, that motherfucker loves boxing. All he talk about is boxing. So all of a sudden now, where my window of success went from this to fucking this. So for Terrence Crawford becoming the face of boxing, okay, you're in the window, man. What are you going to do with it? But I just think it may be too late for Crawford to expand his profile, to keep his profile here, especially when his personality and his comfort zone is here. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be able to take his personality and comfort zone, the way he does things, and expand it to fit into that face and boxing parameter. But he doesn't want to do that. So I think he'll be the face of boxing. for the period of time that his comfort zone can accommodate. And it's like having the attention span of a young child. It ain't gonna be long. A month, 2 months, 3 months, and then everybody starts talking about Canelo again. Nobody will be thinking about Crawford, even though he just beat Canelo. And in the rematch, they're just gonna be talking about Canelo again, and nobody's really gonna be talking about Terrence Crawford. So he's got to he's got to definitely figure it out. Because if he beats Canelo and he becomes the face of boxing again, he ain't gonna be the new face for long. And one thing for sure is I think even Canelo and his team, I think they kind of, people do that. They be like, oh, that person doesn't deserve this, or they won't do well in this position. Nah, that's not the person you should hire. I'm sure they're looking at Crawford beats me. How can he be the face of boxing? He don't have a whole country behind him. What do you have? Omaha, Nebraska. He's not a global icon. He's nothing compared to me. Why? You know what I'm saying? This is how people think. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that's how a lot of people think. I've seen that shit for a lot of years, man. That's why you think I be joking about the secret society shit. I just pulled from a lot of my military experiences and tied into this boxing talk. I tell you, I've been to fly on the motherfucking wall. I know how great people can be and how fucking nefarious and wicked they can be. Be right in your face, man. Your wife, kids, everything. And fucking shit on you. And you have no idea. So anyway, I just think the pressures to avoid those kind of fates. It just could lead Canelo to just, again, overcut the weight, overtrain, overthink. And when he steps on the scale, you're going to see the toll that's been taken on him written all over his face. You know what I'm saying? And if he does come in looking sick, I just think fans are going to panic. If Canelo come in there looking sick or drained or something seems off and he's out there just slowly sipping Pedialyte, people gonna panic. I'm not gonna speculate shit. I'm gonna keep talking what I'm talking. But all the other analysts, so-called analysts, they gonna start speculating. You know what I mean? Look, it's just a conversation, but it's just on this channel we've initiated way before the fucking fight. So we're just a step ahead of the game. And Crawford's camp, they're definitely gonna smell blood. I know I would, and I just think Canelo himself, he's gonna feel the psychological weight of doubt. Like, God damn, I'm about to go in there with this guy who's green light, go, all gas, no brakes, and I know I'm not feeling myself. You know what I mean? And that's how fights are lost before the first bell. It's not in the ring, but it's on the scales. And if he looks weak, Crawford's gonna pounce. In Turkey, he's gonna be watching closely. And even if he is feeling good and he can't catch up to Crawford, Turkey's still gonna be watching him. And Canelo may start to have a little PTSD of that fight in Bivol recently where he just couldn't catch up to him. He couldn't put a dent in him, couldn't slow him down. And Canelo's going to start, mentally breaking down because he's like, fuck, here I am again. It's like somebody who's had a near drowning experience and then all of a sudden they end up in the water and they happen to go out a little too far. Like me, I've almost drowned before. I've told a story on this channel. This is back in the day. I don't drink, but back in the day I used to drink. My cousin and I, we out on the beach. There's this big beach party. Chasing the honey, messing with them females and shit. And girl was like, hey, can you swim? I'm like, yeah. She like, can you swim out to that and back? I'm like, yeah. So my cousin and I, because we were in and out the water. They wouldn't get in. They just wanted to be cute. So I was like, yeah, I'll swim out there, fucking around. I was like, come in. So came in, she played with me a little bit in the water. And, of course, without that, like, yo, go home and crack this chick off after the little beach party. So we drinking and shit. She poured me a drink and we chilling. My cousin, he like, hey, Hood, let's he called me by my real name. Let's swim out to that boat and come back. I'm like, all right. I've always swam out. I mean, way out, man. Goddamn 30, 20 minutes swim out, tread water, chill, wherever we go, and then swim back. But on this day, we swam out there, and I'm telling you, I was coming back and got caught in the fucking the riptide. I was swimming 10 feet, that shit pulled me back 15 feet. And after about 40 minutes of that shit, I was a goner. I'm telling you, I was a goner, man. I started talking to God, tried to touch the bottom, couldn't touch the bottom. I was fucked up, and the water was kind of choppy and shit. That shit was, waves going over my head. I was in bad shape. I ain't gonna lie. I was in bad shape. Somehow, man, I ended up God, that shit was God, I'm telling you. But I ended up touching the bottom, and I made it, I made it back in, and my cousin saw me, and he ran in there and pulled me out. He saw I was fucked up, and he was like, "You all right?" I was like, "No." He made it drop me on the sand like a bag of garbage and shit. I just laid there, and he was like, "What happened?" I was looking for it, like I caught the current, a riptide pulled me out. He was like, "Oh shit." So of course, people were gonna attribute that shit to me, drinking, scotch and coconut water and shit, but that's not what it was. I wasn't drunk. I just been taking a little sip and enjoying myself. It was that fucking current, man. I put it to you this way: even if I was drunk, when that current got a hold of my ass, I sobered up real quick. And I give you that story to talk about Canelo because he could be out there, man, and the water get deep. All of a sudden, he start to relive that shit. Like, damn, this is the Bivol thing again. I can't catch up to him. I'm behind in the scorecards. Because even with me, I go to the beach, the pool. I'm more comfortable, but the beach, that shit come up to maybe here, I'm good. I don't go out where that shit come up. I don't do that anymore. I don't do it. It just start to relive that shit. And I think it could be the same thing for a guy like Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we'll see how it goes when they get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? But I just think, man, Crawford may have a huge opportunity here. And for Canelo, as, the employee of the goddamn year, he got a boss who doesn't tolerate failure. Turki Al-Sheikh, man, he run a tight ship. Iron-fisted dictator. He ain't playing around with this Riyadh season shit. He want guys to produce. If I'm paying you, you produce. It ain't I pay you and you come out here and then think you're going to take my money and run off. Nah. He ain't going for that shit. Turki Al-Sheikh is results driven. I used to sit in all the meetings talking about metrics and looking at scattered charts and pie charts and bar graphs and all that shit. I could talk that shit all day, man. Data analytics, I could talk that shit all day. But this is boxing. It ain't for me to come here and prove to you how fucking smart I am. Them days are over. But I know that shit like the back of my hand because I know the amount of years I've done it. And when I watch a guy like Turki Al-Sheikh, I know I was a guy like that too, but I've seen people who are in the driver's seat who are just all about results. They want to look at the numbers. They want to see. You know what I'm saying? Okay, in the last year during this time, where were we? Okay, where are we now? Okay, we're doing better. Big time increase here. Oh, no, not. We're actually doing worse this month. But last 3 years at this time, looks like we were doing the numbers were better. Why are we in the red now? You know what I'm saying? But that's how Turki Al-Sheikh is. He gave Canelo the platform, gave him the payday. He gave Canelo the spotlight. But if Canelo under-delivers, I'm just telling you, he looks bad, he fights flat, and he loses, Turki going to be like, all right, I need somebody else to do the job. You know what I mean? I'm a results-driven guy. I need somebody who can deliver. And obviously, there was somebody who was delivering before, and he needs to get somebody who can pick up where this guy left off. And that could be Terrence Crawford, you know what I mean? It's just like a CEO firing an executive who couldn't close the deal. You got to be able to seal the deal. Boxing's brutal, man. And loyalty isn't earned. That shit is, and it's not guaranteed, so it's more earned. I would say boxing the loyalty's earned, but it's not guaranteed. But if you ain't winning, that loyalty shit goes out the window. You watch Eddie Hearn. He loved all his fighters. All his fighters. Let him start taking losses. Only one he ain't getting rid of is AJ. Anthony Joshua, no matter win, lose, or draw, there's dollar signs attached to him. But if for some reason the money leaves the building, Eddie Hearn ain't messing with AJ. That's my mate. That's my mate. While you making your millions, huh? So the bottom line, man, look, just don't forget the fundamentals. Canelo's still chasing that Employee of the Year, Employee of the Month award. Want to be recognized. Turki Al-Sheikh wants results. Crawford is sitting back just watching. He's that guy in the cut. Crawford is that co-worker who's sitting back in the cut just watching you, hating on you. Man, that MF over there, damn, he got that pay raise. He ain't better than me. She can't do this better than me. I put in more hours than all of them. I never got recognized. The MMF has been doing it less amount of time than me. Now they got that new position. Oh shit, he got the nice desk. That's a leather chair. Oh shit, they got 3 screens. I only got dual screens. Oh damn, they got the goddamn hotspot, wireless hotspot for when they go on business trips. Nah, forget this shit. Oh, his wife driving that X7 now? Nah, fuck this. Fuck this. I gotta bring him down. I gotta poke him in the eyeball and front the boss. And that's what Crawford gonna do. You give him an opportunity, man. I am telling you, man. He gonna say, you know what? You know, you were the guy who was relaxed, and you were the guy who was focused. You were the guy who was strategic, and that's how you got to where you're at. But now, you know what? I'm the relaxed guy. I'm the focused guy. I'm the strategic guy. I'm the big dog on the block. And I'm going to succeed you, and I'm going to do it by beating the shit out of you. Because now you so worried on holding on to your position, you don't recognize that they got all these goddamn wolves around you. And we want your position, and we want your money. So, good luck to Canelo trying to prove something, man. Because if he forgets, what made Canelo what he is being relaxed, focused, and strategic. And if he trains like a desperate man instead of a confident champion, he gonna sabotage himself, man. So the weigh-in will reveal everything, in my opinion. And if he looks sick, it won't be because he's weak. It'll be because he tried too hard and too strong to get ready for a light-in-the-ass Terrence Crawford, which is going to tell you all you need to know about Canelo's self-confidence. You talk the talk, but you can't walk the walk. When the real deal start, don't get scared. If you're going to be Al Capone, go all the way. You're going to be a monkey, be a gorilla. And that's what you need to do. Got to be a lion. Go out in the jungle. You just got to eat them. Eat all of these animals out there. You be the lion. But we're going to see if Canelo's roar turn into a meow, if the lion turn into a pussycat. Terrence Crawford ain't playing around. Turki ain't playing around. And I think Canelo has stressed himself out to the point where he just wants to prove the boss that he's still the employee that he was before, and he can still get in here and deliver. But we're going to find out. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.